going on, guys? Chris Chu, martial arts nomad. There's my hand. Arnis International. And I wanted to start something because I do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of driving. And I have a lot of things to say and a lot of thoughts in my mind. So I figured I'd start a new thing. It's not new to anyone else. It's new to this channel because I don't want to have a lot anyway, so everything's new to this channel. But car thoughts. These things will primarily be based around martial arts. I do a lot of driving, a lot of traveling, so I figured why not? Let's just turn on the camera and let's talk about stuff. These things are not scripted, these things are not planned. This was literally thought of as I was driving. I figured, you know what? I got something to say. So I turned on the camera. And forgive me, the mount is not great. In fact, there is no mount. I have found my tripod, the little tiny one that I have, hooked my camera to it up, it's on the dash. So if I brake too hard, this thing's going flying. If I accelerate too fast, the thing's going flying. Any number of things could cause this camera to fall on the floor. But anyway, I will not be editing these things. I will not be changing much at all. I might put a title in the beginning. I don't know. I also don't know if the music I'm playing in the background will get me in trouble. I don't care. It's Paramore, and I love Paramore. I'm listening to their Riot CD. Yeah. So, what is the first episode of Car Thoughts gonna be about? Let's freaking go. Ooh, someone's gonna cut me off here. The first topic I had in mind was, what's the best martial art? It's a question we all get asked if we're in the business of teaching or in the business of sharing or in leading in martial arts. It's a question we've all been asked before. What is the best martial art? And I feel a lot of people don't answer correctly to that question. I know this because I've seen people answer incorrectly to this question. You know, I've worked for a commercial martial arts school, so I've seen the business side of things. I worked for one for about 5 years. I attended that same school 5 years prior. I was there for 10 in total, 5 as a student, 5 as an employee and a student. I will say this, the 5 as an employee/student, I felt much more like an employee. But, and I remember my sensei being asked questions, well, what's the best art, blah, 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 and what do you think he said? Of course he said his own, because he is trying to, make a business. He's trying to sell, memberships and whatnot, and I understand that. But I feel he did people disservices. What is the best art? I would guarantee, how cynical and nihilistic do I want to be? I would love to say that around 70 to 60% of people answer this thing incorrectly, but it's probably closer to 80 or 90. But, I like to think a little optimistically, and less cynical sometimes, but I know humanity. I know how we are as humans and how we answer things incorrectly sometimes. And my question, whenever I'm asked this question, or my response is a question to that question, what do you want to get out of it? What are you hoping to gain out of martial arts? If you're hoping to become the best ground guy on the planet, take catch wrestling and BJJ. If you're hoping to become the best striking person, the best puncher of things, the best utilization of kicking, take boxing and Muay Thai. My map is telling me to do something else. But anyway, if you want to become the best knife guy, the best knife defense guy, take an FMA class mixed with some CLOP probably. You want to become the best at, I've worked with some people, security people, compliance things. I can't beat up the guy, I can't break his arm, I can't do a lot of heavy duty, I can't knock him out, I got to get them out of there as quick as possible. I say take small circuit jiu-jitsu mixed with FMA and some grappling basics because, I've done this where I've walked a guy out of a room with a finger lock. It worked for me. I couldn't, I wasn't official security, but I was helping a friend out. We did some stuff, boom, got him out. So, when we're talking to new people about what's the best art, we need to ask them what are they trying to get? I'm telling you now, if you're trying to get physical fitness, like if you're trying to become super fit, kickboxing cardio, you will be a great runner. You will have great physical fitness after that. If you want to work strength training, MMA, go to any of those gyms, they always have weight racks. They're There's always pads you can punch, there's bags you can hit, and there's always weights you can lift. You want to become comfortable at, ground tournament stuff. Go to a BJJ school. You have to find out what's the best thing for you and what you're hoping to get out of it. And that's where I think a lot of people screw up. Because what is most business owners going to say? Oh, mine's the best. We do all those things. Do you really? Like my sensei in the Taekwondo industry, he had grappling courses, and they were okay. He also said he taught knife defense. As an FMA practitioner now, I can look back and say that knife stuff was, in all due respect, not very good. But instead of outsourcing it and wanting to get help, he thought he had his own mentality behind it, And he was wrong, in my opinion. I know people who think they have the best. I know one FMA group, they think they're the best also at grappling. I laugh at that because they're not. There's nothing wrong with being humble and saying, hey, you want to do that? I don't know how to do it, but I know a guy who does. I've had people who come to my classes saying, well, hey, I want to get better at this. Oh, well, I can work on basics, but you want to work that? I know someone who's better at that than me. There's nothing wrong with being humble and admitting that to yourself, but more importantly to the guy who's coming to you asking, hey, I don't know anything, but I want to learn that. I saw you were on Facebook. Can you teach me that? Literally begging someone to show him the path you go, and you lying to him saying that, oh, well, I've got this, when you don't, is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Do not be afraid to admit that you're wrong and humble yourself and say, hey, you know what, buddy? Let's say you only do BJJ. This is just a hypothetical. You only do BJJ grappling, and this guy wants to learn to be a boxer. Yeah, you could probably teach him some basics. But why not send him to the boxing coach that you know on your phone? Why not send him to someone else that you know who could do what he wants to do better than you do it? I had a guy who wanted to learn knife stuff from me. At the time, I wasn't super big into knives. I know basics, and I could teach him some stuff. But I said, hey, who's really, this guy I know, he's amazing at knife. He's infinitely better than me. Gave him his contact info. Boom. We as martial artists need to be focusing more on helping students and also helping each other out instead of focusing solely on ourselves. I've met some instructors and martial artists who were so focused on themselves, they only thought of themselves. They have all these different things in place for, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. Well, we also do that. Hey, for 20 more bucks, we can teach you this too, blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? We specialize in this. I know a guy who specializes in exactly what you're looking for. Here's his number. Tell him I sent you. Treat you right. It's that simple. Instead, we try to own the market of things. And I feel like that's where we lose students, and students get burned. So when we hear the question, going back to the point of, well, what's the best art? If your immediate response is my own, you're missing so much. If your immediate response to the question when someone asks you, hey, I'm looking to try out martial arts, what's the best one? And your immediate response is self-centered, maybe you shouldn't be teaching anymore. Maybe you really need to go back to be a student for a while. Maybe you need to really reevaluate why you began to do what you started to do. I don't think anyone starts off as a martial artist with ill intentions. I don't. I'd like to think that. Do I think it's 100% true? No, there's probably some scumbags out there who started doing what they're doing to be scumbags. But I'm hoping that's not the case. I think most of us started doing martial arts because we love doing it. We love sharing what we've learned. We have fun. And I can speak personally from the FMA crowds. We have so much fun. The food is so good. The gatherings are so fun. The community and the family I've made and friends I've had along the way from the FMA world is some of the best I've ever had and some of the most cherished memories of my entire mind. That sentence sucked, but either way. If your sole focus is to build up your own lineage and damn everybody else, again, if your response to that question of what's the best art I'm trying to learn what's the best one, and you say me, without thinking, without hesitation, you really need to look at why you're doing what you're doing. Because odds are, you're not on the right path anymore. And maybe you should check that. I'm not trying to tell or call anybody out in specifics. I've met people who are like that, but I don't want to be that guy to specifically call them names, because I'm not good at it. It doesn't help anybody. But I'm very passionate about this idea of, as a teacher, as someone who's been teaching since I was 15. I got my first black belt at 15. I started being the assistant instructor, started teaching from that point on. And I've worked in child development, I've worked in youth ministry, I've taught every type of age. So the kids' gym I used to work at, we started at 2 months old. 2 months, all the way to 11 years of age. Youth ministry, I led students all the way from 6th grade all the way to 18 years old. In the karate school, I started teaching kids at 4 all the way to when they were 45. Oldest student I've ever had at the karate school back in the day was 67. I've taught every age out there, mostly. And I think that is where my passion for teaching comes in, because I've seen so many teachers, and I feel that every day there are fewer and fewer bad ones, because more and more good ones are starting to rise up. I think that's where we all need to be. Is what's the purpose of teaching? The purpose of teaching is to have your students one day surpass you. The purpose of teaching is to one day have your students become wiser than you are, passing along your wisdom you've picked up along the way. If your sole focus is for them to stay behind you, if your sole focus is to have them always be a step beneath you, you're missing the plot. But teaching is a whole other topic we can get onto later. This one is strictly about what is the best art, and I think I said my point clearly. Find out what's the best art for them, what they want to do, find out what their purpose would be, and find out what makes them the most fulfilled as a teacher. For the person asking the question, what's the best art there, buddy? If I'm the one asking that question, I want to find out what art makes me the happiest, and what art makes me the better version of myself, the best version of myself I can be. What art is that? And I'm going to go after that full force. Anyway, guys, this is the first episode of Car Thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I am still traveling, still driving, and who knows, maybe I'll do another one of these soon. I think the next one I'm going to be doing will be next week. I said they're not planned, they're not scripted is what I should have said. They're not scripted. I want to plan out these types of things because I guess they're sort of planned because I know when I'm traveling. But as for the topics, it's usually going to come when I'm on the road and just thinking about stuff. But if you guys have anything you want me to discuss, let me know in the comments. Shoot me a message. Tell me I'm completely full of shit. I don't care. Because I am doing this because, one, I think there's a few people out there who think like I do. And I'm going to use my platform to help as best I can. That guy was kind of cool looking. I get distracted easily, as you can tell. But, yeah. This is the first episode of Car Thoughts. Chris Chu, martial arts nomad, Arnis International. Let me know what you guys thought, and let me know what I should talk about next, and I will check you guys later. Have a good one.